there's so much on the marketplace. What do I look at? I look at all these rankings and these listings online. I just can't figure out which franchises are good or not. Everything online seems to be an advertisement, which it is. And so I help narrow down and get to the good, the bad, the ugly, and just try to figure out what it is that what's real world look like in some of these franchise opportunities, and making sure that people that I'm working with understand what they're getting into, going through a process with me to make sure that they're making a data-driven decision as they're going through the process with the franchisor, and before they sign a franchise agreement, I want to make sure that they know exactly what they're getting into and exactly where they need to go.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I am your host, Q Edmonds, and I'm super excited to be here today. Have someone here that's going to actually talk about a topic I don't get to talk about that much. So I'm really excited about that. Sometimes my guests have a way of firing me up right before we come on the show. And he did that same thing, just kind of just a mutual respect, a mutual identity that we both share that we may get into. I don't know. It's probably going to seep out, but, we'll see. But I'm super excited because he's going to talk about franchises. He's going to tell you probably about a lot of misinformation that comes to franchises. And also he's going to be someone that can tell you, help people buy commercial real estate, help people if they're thinking about franchising, how to get started. And so, again, some of the misinformation and how we can avoid some of that misinformation. And so I am super excited to introduce you all to Mr. Jonathan Anderson. Mr. Jonathan, how you doing today, sir?
Doing fantastic, Q. Thanks for having me today. So excited.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. And so you told me you just woke up, right? Now I'm just playing around. People don't even know that about that. Listen, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you making time, man. And Mr. Jonathan, look, I'm gonna dive right in, man. I want you to tell the people what your main focus is. I want you to tell people maybe a little bit origin story of kind of how you got into this space, maybe how this became a passion for you. And then also, man, if you don't mind, tell us what part of the world you're in. We would love to know where you are demographically or geographically, I guess. So, Mr. Johnson, sir, you got the floor, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. So calling in from Burbank, California this morning, got up early. You had mentioned, just got up, been up early on calls, working with investors from out of the country coming into the United States. But primarily, my main role is a franchise analyst. For the last 15 or 16 years, I've been analyzing franchise opportunities and just making sure, I think my main goal in life is just to make sure that people, when they're getting into franchise opportunities, that they're making the right data-driven decision for themselves and their family. And so what I've done for the last 15 or 16 years is analyze franchises from the ground level, figuring out what the franchisees are going through on the day-to-day basis, what the day in the life of a franchisee looks like. Are they successful? How much money can they make? What is the truth behind the glitz and the glamour that you see on the internet? So I utilize those superpowers after analyzing franchises, working with franchisors to match individuals who come to me saying, Jonathan, there's so much on the marketplace. What do I look at? I look at all these rankings and these listings online. I just can't figure out which franchises are good or not. Everything online seems to be an advertisement, which it is. And so I help narrow down and get to the good, the bad, the ugly, and just try to figure out what it is that what's real world look like in some of these franchise opportunities, and making sure that people that I'm working with understand what they're getting into, going through a process with me to make sure that they're making a data-driven decision as they're going through the process with the franchisor, and before they sign a franchise agreement, I want to make sure that they know exactly what they're getting into and exactly where they need to go. Because, when any endeavor we start, especially in commercial real estate and real estate, right? You want to make sure that you have the end in sight. You need multiple exit strategies. You have to have a couple of different plans. And that's what I think most franchisees fail to do, is figure out what their exit strategy is going to look like. And that doesn't mean they need to know exactly how they're going to sell their business and when.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
It needs to know that when they need to sell their business, or when their life is telling them they are ready to sell, that they are ready to sell, and having them be prepared to know what that means. So that's my main role in franchising. I also work with franchisors to make sure that they're developing or selling franchise in a responsible manner, making sure they're not selling franchises, that they're awarding franchises, that they're not just looking for a pulse and the money for people coming in. And then one of my most exhilarating things that I do is I come from the world of franchise resales. That's the franchise units that are existing and ready to sell. I
Mm,
stay ahead of the market. I try to stay in close contact with the franchisors to get to the franchisees before they go and work with a traditional broker. Traditional brokers don't typically know franchising very well, and I like to give everybody their happy win and their exit as they leave the franchise world. And you know what? That also, one door closed is another door open for another individual coming in, buying a great business that they know what they're getting into, and they
yeah.
can make the franchisor happy by hopefully everybody being successful in their business venture. So that's my role.
Man, I love it, man. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, man, talking to us about franchises. I know we're gonna dive probably more into it, and it seems like, man, you are vital right now to what to helping people in franchise. Like the way you approach it, all the things that you said, they definitely need you on their side if they're thinking about getting into franchising. Um, we're gonna get there, but I want to go a little bit back a little bit, Mr. Jonathan, because you mentioned the word superpower. And I mention that word probably every podcast. Like I want people to find their superpower. And so you said for the last 15 years, you've been applying your superpower. I want to know, how did you figure that out? So I have a saying where I say destiny has no wasted moments, right? Meaning like as we go through life, there are different things on our destination, moments that make us who we are today. So you've been using your superpower for the last 15 years, but how did you figure out that was the superpower? When did it click for you that this is what you wanted to do, man?
Well, I think like everybody, you wish you would have found your calling earlier. You would have found your main thing earlier in life. But I think as life goes on, it's just the way that it works. With age comes grace. In 2009, I was sitting down at the dinner table with my mom, and she was sobbing. She was actually
Mm,
sobbing because she was in the tears of joy, because I was getting ready to take a buyout from the company that I'd helped build from
mm,
zero to 100 million over the course of 28 months. It was called Silly
yeah.
Bands, the animal shaped rubber bands. So we were sitting
Yeah.
down. She was so happy that I was going to have this windfall of money, and I was trying to figure out like what I was going to do. It was going to be my second act, my second career. And her tears of joy quickly turned into tears of sadness. And she expressed to me that years ago they had sold their business, and I had known that they had a small business that they had sold. They sold it off to a gentleman on an owner financing deal, and they ended up not being able to collect on the rest of the deal. And so
Mm,
they got basically a tenth of what they should have gotten for their business, and they were devastated. So I started thinking to myself, what can I do to protect my mom and people like her in the future? I did everything at the top of first thing came to mind was go to the guy's house and just beat him up or throw a cheeseburger at him. you know, but realized quickly that I couldn't do that and that there was really no point in that. And so I thought maybe I wanted to be a business broker. So I picked up the internet and I searched business broker franchise.
If you're looking for consistent, high quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
And
Mm,
spoke with a business broker who was in franchising, and he was the franchisor of one of the largest franchise business brokerage out there for business brokerage. And he said, Jonathan, I don't think you want to be a broker. And I said, why not?
mm,
I think I'd love it. I can protect people. He said, brokers have a saying, buyers are liars. He says, you know who
mm,
the liars are, Jonathan? The brokers are the liars. They're just trying to sell
mm.
businesses. They don't
Wow.
care. They just want transactions to go through. He said, you're
Wow.
more of a marketing person, and the value that you need to add and you want to protect people. Here's how you do it. You need to get into franchise development. But first, I see a franchise marketing role in your future. Long
Mm,
story short is, for about the next
mm,
6 weeks, I took some time and sat down and tried to figure out what it is that I really wanted to try to figure out. What can I do to apply? What is my calling? What are my superpowers? Number one
mm.
thing that I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and I love doing, is adding value to people's lives.
Yeah.
Second thing
Mm,
is I love business and I love strategy, and I'm a
mm.
marketing guy.
Yeah.
Number three, I want to work from anywhere. And number four, I want to work for myself. Not
Mm,
necessarily in those order. Number one, adding value is the most important. The other three kind of just came along.
yeah.
And so just the freedom to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it, work with people and add value at the end of the day. In 2013, I took my first role in franchising behind the scenes. And this behind the scenes role, I never thought I would get there. I had no idea if I'd ever get into franchising. But for the 3 years prior to that, almost 4 years, I've been doing SWOT analysis for
Mm,
private
mm,
equity firms at franchising, and not directly working with the PE firms, but working with consultant firms where I was under an NDA and I didn't even know who I was working for, but I knew I was doing the SWOT analysis of the top 250 um, home service brands was the first one, and then after that it was health and health and fitness, and I went in to do other industries after that. But I realized quickly that there in franchising there's a franchise development role, and in development it is not your job to sell franchises. It is your role to gatekeep, to make sure that the person that you're speaking with on the other side of the phone is actually a good candidate for your brand,
yeah.
right? So when I got my
Yeah.
first role helping people sell their franchises and resales, I not only got to understand what it looked like to be a failure in franchising or not do as well as you had hoped you were going to do, where expectations didn't match reality, but also had the ability to help them get the win in selling their business and then help somebody come in and buy the business of their dreams at a great price and then take it to the next level. And
Mm,
so that's where the value, that orchestra, really, I loved it. And when I got in there and I realized it, and now, 15, 16 years later, and I realized I'm here, I would have never been able to tell you how I was going to get to this journey had I
mm,
gone back there. Had no idea how I was going to get here. And I don't even know if I'm completely here yet, except for the
mm.
fact that I'm physically here and mentally
Yeah.
here. As
Yeah.
we move forward, you never know. I think when it comes down to it, my main goal in life is to add value.
Mm,
And if I can
mm.
do that, then everything else just kind of falls into place.
Ooh, Mr. Jonathan, man, thank you, sir. Thank you for something I like to call the gift of your vulnerability, the gift of your transparency, right? You let us in on stuff that we did not have to know and we would not have known unless you shared. So thank you so much for sharing. And man, I think people need to hear this coming from you because you had Silly Band, sold it for over 100 million. You just took us through the process of what the different things that you had to go through. And so I try to tell people we just don't want to talk about success. We want to talk about the journey to success as well, right? We just don't want to show them the shiny object. We want to show the journey. And so I know you know this because everybody goes through it, adversity. There's times when things go sideways, times when you have to pivot. So how did adversity show its face within your journey? And how did you overcome it? Because again, I'm looking at success, and I want people who going through the journey to know, like, hey, it's not always easy. Ever just I'm gonna say it like this, and you're gonna get this: trials come to make us strong, right? So, what trial that you had to go through that made you the strong person you are today, Mr. Jonathan?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Well, we mentioned one of the successes right there, and to clarify, Silly Bands did 100 million in revenue. We didn't sell for 100 million, but
Okay,
and
wow,
I wasn't even a minority owner in the business. I was just kind of the
okay,
right hand man of the guy that we had done it. We had built a team and it had been great. But in that triumph also came adversity, and the adversity was I didn't feel like I was fully protected in as much in with the ability to get as much money as I thought I was going to get from that deal. I had to fight
yeah,
for it. I got well taken care of in hindsight, but nothing good comes easy. And so when we
mm,
look at, I mean, adversity should be a part of everybody's life if we really want to grow and be stronger. And we should, they say that we should embrace, uncertainty. And I totally unequivocally agree. But I also
yeah,
think we should embrace adversity in as many ways as we can, especially because the adversities that we don't bring on and the adversities that are just kind of put in front of us, we need to embrace those. We don't want to go and welcome them at any time, but inevitably we need to embrace those. And that's what I did at the time. I just embraced it. I said, hey, listen, what's the best that I can do in this situation? And what's the best for everybody so that I don't burn a bridge and that I keep a long-term relationship alive. And so the adversities that I've had along the way, I mean, there's so many to name. And that's the
mm,
thing that most people don't, when we look at videos online and people give us a how-to or whatnot, they don't tell you a lot about it, the backroom conversations or the tears on the pillow, the things that like make us stronger. Then well, I think we should talk about those more.
yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah,
just so many to talk about.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
every day is about, if we could sit here and talk about our adversities,
yeah, yeah.
forever.
Nah, man, I definitely hear you. I have a saying where I say failure is fertilizer, right? That's all it is. It's fertilizer that helps you grow. And majority of the time when you research fertilizer, some of it is just dung. Some of it is, excuse my language, shit. And like sometimes we go through things that are just shitty. But in that is the nutrients that's going to help us grow. It's fertilizer. Fertilizer sometimes it's messy, it's stinky. But if you get roots in that, man, you will grow up, strong. And so I always say, the trials come again to make you strong, and so we can't avoid them, like you said. It's only going to make us stronger if you allow yourself to take root in that, to let something grow out of that. You know what I mean?
That's the key. I think you got to breathe into the pain. You know, you gotta feel it a little bit. That way it makes it that much better at the end.
Yes, sir. Very well said. So let me ask you this. What's your next real goal? What are you looking to solve or scale next?
Right now I'm seeing an influx of franchise resales coming on the market. Speaking with a lot of franchisors, they're sending me contact information of franchisees who are looking to sell and they feel like they don't have any hope or any way out. I want to offer these people hope. And at the same time, what we really need to find is we need to find buyers for these distressed businesses that are out there on the market, and they're not on the market yet. That's the thing. I'm getting to them early, which is great, but also, you know, inevitably finding buyers for distressed franchises that are out there. And I'm not talking, distressed beyond repair. I'm talking about franchises that just need maybe the right person to come in with the right sweat equity, the right person to come in with the right capital and inject it into this actual business to have it start to grow the way that it should be, flourishing and give some of these people their exit that they deserve. A lot of people that bought businesses in 2020 made knee jerk reactions. We didn't know where the world was going to be in 2021 and 2020. So people that were getting let go of high paying jobs didn't want to bleed their money away. So they went and they spent it and they invested it in a franchise. And unfortunately, a lot of them made a bad decision, and
Mhm.
not in bad franchises, but
Yeah.
in a decision that just didn't make sense for their lifestyle. And then life changed back a little bit. 2021 came around and realized that life was going to go on and that businesses were going to reopen and that hopefully everything was going to come back the same.
Yeah.
And they went back to their regular life, but they have this investment that's just sitting there as a thorn in their side a lot of times, and they're just they want to get rid of it. And it's worth someone coming in and buying
Yeah.
at the value that they want, probably not, but inevitably, like, there's a sale, a transaction that can happen there to stop that unit from closing, and the new franchisee could come in, put some hard work and effort and capital behind these businesses and really turn them into viable businesses. There's a
Yeah.
great market for it right now.
Absolutely. Now, I heard you mention that that the people, and I think I heard you say it like this: people are just not transactional, right? This is just not transactional. This is about really helping people, right? And so, I would love to know your perspective on relationship building. Um, have relationships served you well within, relationship building within business? Has it served you well? What's your outlook on it? How do you do it? So, talk to me a little bit, Mr. Jonathan, about relationships within business.
Wow, I mean, relationships, I think, in life are everything. Connection, we are human beings looking to make connections, whether relationships are business,
Mm,
transactional,
mm,
long-term, romantic, whatever they are. It's all about
mm,
setting the proper expectations, adding value to people's lives
mm,
around you. And how many friends did you grow up with that you probably don't have around you anymore because they just never really added any value, or maybe they added the wrong value to your life.
mhm,
That's
mhm.
a thing too.
Yes, sir.
Inevitably, connections and relationships are of the utmost important, and certainly, I'm not gonna get along with everybody, and everybody's not gonna love me, and that's just the way it is, right? So, at the end of the day, I'm gonna put my best foot forward, treat everybody like my brother, my sister, do everything I can do to help them, and really what's gonna translate in long term is gonna be my actions, the proof of the value that I've added, and then my relationships that I've built will then transcend into new relationships from word of mouth marketing. And that's the key. I try to do
Yeah,
the best I can for everybody that I've got in front of me, give them everything I've got, listen to understand that what they're saying is important, look into their system to help them for corrections and see what we can do and see if I can actually add value to their lives. If I can't, find someone else who can. You
yeah,
know, I don't
yeah,
need to hoard a relationship just to be a hero. I'm not trying to
yeah,
be anybody's hero. But what I am
mm,
trying to do is add value, and if I can do that, I welcome any phone call, any conversation. I'm a huge proponent of long-term, mutually beneficial relationships, making sure that I'm passing on the good word. If someone does me well, I wanna make sure I'm paying that forward right back to them. So,
yeah, yeah. I love it. I appreciate something that you said kind of sparked the thought. And I'm gonna kind of said it like this, but something that you said, it made something think in me. Because you said all relationships don't have to get along. We don't get along in every relationship, but there still can be some type of relating that we can do. We just some areas we're just not going to be able to agree on. And it made me think about what a ship is. Like a ship, that sails across the seas or whatever. There's different type of boats. There's rowboats, there's cruise ships, there's these great boaters, when they ship stuff. And each ship needs different type of crew. And so a rowboat don't need 100 people on that little ship. It's just the two of y'all, but y'all can relate just knowing the two of us are going to roll together. But then maybe when I need to move a Titanic, I might need a big crew with me. And then I relate with them when it comes to that, to how to move this Titanic. So whatever relationship, whatever ship you are relating with people, whatever movement you're trying to move together with people, is going to require sometimes a lot of people, a few people, different responsibilities. Some people got to hoist the sail, some people got to row the boat. How are we going to do this thing together? What are we trying to move forward together? And when we can agree on that, and we can come in community, common unity on that, then we can move the ship together. But some people, 100 people can't fit in the rowboat. It's so some of y'all, I hate to say it like this, I just don't need you for this ship. Maybe I may come to you for another ship and we can have a relationship. But right now, I just don't need you. So when you said that, that kind of sparked in me like, I love that because everybody, unfortunately, is not always fit for the journey that you're on or the stop that you're on in that journey. When you put it, maybe you switch shifts. Maybe I have a different focus now. And so I love that because that's a way to keep a good line of communication open with people, but also be honest with people. Like, this is where we are. This is how we're relating. And so I don't know if you want to comment to that, but that's something when you said that, that kind of sparked something in me.
Well, I mean, and this is what I struggle with this all the time. I mean, if you watch the news headlines and everything that's going on, you'd think that people hate each other, but inevitably, when you talk to anybody you talk to, if you just walk up to somebody with an open mind and start having a conversation, you'll find out that we're in the age old adage, we're more alike than we are different.
Yes, sir.
It's the headlines and everything else that have made us divisive and want to argue, and it's none of those things matter because we can't change
Oh,
them.
mm,
And if we
mm,
could
mm,
change them, they probably still wouldn't matter,
mm,
you know?
mm, mm.
So inevitably, when it comes down to it, yeah, it's timing is everything with
Yeah.
relationships. And,
Mm,
I might, people that might be listening to this right now might be thinking this is, not a conversation they need to hear now. I'll save it for the future.
hmm
Timing is everything. If when you get to a point when you need to sell your business and you feel like you're in a hurry, that you're automatically behind the eight ball if you're in a hurry. So you got to be patient. You got to go through the process. And again, coming back to it, relationships, we're more alike than we are different, and timing is everything, especially, if you catch someone at the right time, you'll really be able to add value to their life a lot of ways. So
So well said, sir. Me and my wife got a saying where we say time takes time. You can't rush time. Your time just takes time. It is what it is. And I love timing is everything. Mr. Jonathan, let me ask you, if someone wanted to reach out to you, connect with you, collaborate with you, learn more about what you're doing, how can they get in contact with you, sir?
best way to start, go to franchiseanalyst.com. You'll find all my contact information on there. You can email me at jonathan@franchiseanalyst.com. Easy to get a hold of. Just schedule a call and we'll see where it leads.
Mm. Yeah. Well, listen, I want to say three things to you, Mr. Jonathan. First, I want to say thank you for your time because we just talked about time, right? Timing is everything. Time is our most precious commodity. So definitely, sir, thank you for your time. Two, thank you for your story. Um, like I said, man, stories move the world. Before Kobe Bryant passed away, something he said on one of his final interviews is nothing in this world moves without story. There's a story behind everything. There's a story behind the mic that's in front of you. If you look at it, it has all kind of coding in it. It'll tell a story of when it was created. The hat you have on has a story. There's things in it that lead back to where it was created, what factory it was created in. My glasses have a story. Everything has a story. So I thank you for coming and sharing your story with transparency, with honesty, with vulnerability. I greatly appreciate that. And lastly, man, thank you for your perspective. Thank you for your mindset and bringing that mindset to this platform. I greatly appreciate you being here today, Mr. Jonathan.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Well, listen, y'all heard Mr. Jonathan. You heard the nuggets that he dropped. You can't tell me you didn't get great value from this. Learned about franchising. Some of y'all gonna be hitting them up like, this is exactly what I needed. So definitely look in his show notes, hit him up. And I love Mr. Jonathan. That's my man. That's my guy.
Yeah.
But definitely make sure you're subscribed here. If you want to check him out, definitely make sure you're subscribed here. That way you can come back because we're going to continue to bring up amazing people just like Mr. Jonathan. So, sir, I say thank you again. And to everyone else, y'all have a fantastic day.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.